Week 3. Oh my god, my predictions have gone to shit. You know you had a bad week for picks when you didn't get a single game right in the early window on Sunday. Well, let's see how we ended up here. Looks like the Jets have hit their stride, vintage Aaron Rodgers performance, and it looks like the magic has disappeared for New England. So the Browns might actually suck. The defense can't stop the cold right now. Made Daniel Jones and the Giants offense look good. And but Malik Neighbors showed out though. This one was rough. Caleb and Anthony were up and down in this game, and both teams seemed pretty evenly matched, and their offenses took a step forward. Maybe there's hope. I've picked against the Vikings the last 3 weeks, and I apologize. Sam Darnold in this offense is clicking, and the defense is elite. And I knew I had a feeling about Houston's offense. Are you fucking kidding me, New Orleans? You had one job. Very low scoring game on both sides, and the Eagles just made one more play to sneak this one out. Oh, this game was ugly? I expected nothing different. Both defenses held up, but once Herbert and others were knocked out of the game, Fields and the Steelers just took control to stay undefeated. What the fuck? Tampa Bay just looked hopeless out there this week. The Broncos did whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, all game. Enjoy the fluke win, Denver. Alright, Tennessee, I'm concerned. For Green Bay, I've been writing them off without Jordan Love, but their roster is still damn good. And Malik Willis, you got my respect. I think the Panthers have had their QB the whole time, riding the bench. Dalton came out and lit up that Raiders defense. Could there be hope for Carolina? Oh, well, let's just take it one game at a time. As expected, the Seahawks slaughtered the Dolphins without Tua. The 3-0 start is nice, Seattle, but you'll have some big tests on the way. What looked to be a shootout ended up just being a defensive standoff. It's a shame somebody had to lose, but Detroit comes out with the win, and at the same time, the Cardinals still have to feel pretty confident. At first, it looked like just another very bad week for the Cowboys, but Baltimore did almost let it get away. Tread carefully. Dallas, way to fight back, but start faster next time, please. We're in the Infinity War part of the 49ers season. Missing 3 offensive weapons, the 49ers fall just short. Good on the Rams to win this one, being as short-handed as they are. So, we're just not going to call that pass interference in the end zone. Either way, Kansas City stays undefeated, but I feel a little bit better about Atlanta moving forward. Well, Jacksonville, your short-lived window has just slammed shut. Buffalo once again just walked up and down this Jags team and looked just as dangerous as ever. Now, I don't want to say I called Jaden Daniels having a breakout game, but I did. Both teams played a pretty damn good game this week, and Cincinnati's offense looks like it's back, but the defense scares me. And before I get into the week 4 predictions, we are joined here by the Swordmaster Alpha, SMA. Rough start for the Patriots, but how are you doing?
I mean, I'm alright, could be way better.
Yeah, I guess it always could be. How you feeling about that Thursday night game last week against the Jets?
I feel sick to my fucking stomach about that Jets game. We don't do that in New England. We don't lose that fucking badly to the Jets. The fucking Jets? Are you serious? Even with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets do look pretty good right now. But we'll see how long they keep that up. Do you feel like there's anything that needs to change with this Patriots team? And if so, what is your outlook on the season going forward?
I think we need to have a better passing game, because we're just handing the ball off to Ramondre Stevenson and hoping for the best. As for how we're going to look in the season ahead, we have some tough games for sure, but I think we'll come out on top.
Yeah, I wish I could have that attitude about my Cowboys right now. But looking ahead to next week, how do you feel about this 49ers game coming up?
You want to know what I think about the fucking 49ers?
Whoa, hold on. Hey, before you go, I don't have the budget to be doing all that again, so just kind of take it easy and, bro, your room is on fire. Alright, anyway, back to the Niners.
So they don't have any of their offensive starters. Debo, Sam Hill, what's happening to that man? Christian McCaffrey and George Brittle's little broken ass. They choked at the end of last week's game against the Rams. That was pretty tight, but man, they just can't follow through. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett and the Patriots offense is gonna cook the 49ers defense.
Cook like your house? Big shout out to SMA. Go follow him on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And tune into his streams. I make regular appearances on there as well. And now to the predictions. And we get to start the week with Cowboys versus the Giants on fucking primetime. Woohoo. Dallas needs this game badly. And beating Cleveland really doesn't do a whole lot for me for the Giants. so give me the Cowboys to win this one. But my eyes are going to be on the Malik Neighbors versus Trayvon Diggs matchup. Saints versus Falcons. Falcons are kind of on the come up, while the Saints came down a little bit last week. This division game should be very interesting and very hard fought and close, but I'm going to give the edge to Atlanta, seeing that they're the home team and they look like they're on the upswing. The Andy Dalton revenge game. We got the Bengals taking on the Panthers. I don't know, Cincy. It's do or die right now. While Carolina looks completely rejuvenated with the quarterback change, I am going to have to give it to Cincinnati just because they have an all-around better team. Plus, their back's against the wall and they really need this game. Then we got the Rams going to Chicago, and this is gonna be tough. Chicago's defense is still held up pretty good, but the offense still has not carried their weight. I think it'd be easy to say that Chicago's defense will be able to stifle the Rams offense considering the pieces they're missing, but I'm still going to trust Matthew Stafford to get this win and beat the Bears like old times. Next up, we have what probably could be the most interesting game of the week. We've got the Vikings taking on the Packers. Now, it's fair to say early on in the season, I was wrong about both of these teams. The Packers still have a good roster without Jordan Love, although he may be returning this weekend. And the Vikings just all around, their offense is really good, their defense is elite, and they just knocked off the Texans and the 49ers in back-to-back weeks. I'm going to put some respect on the Vikings name, and I'm going to take them to win this one in Lambeau. Next up, we got the Jags taking on the Texans, and both teams were just drubbed last week. Jacksonville couldn't get anything going, as has been the story for them the whole season, and Houston just got completely ambushed by that Vikings offense. I'm thinking backs against the wall, the Jags need to do something. They're too talented to fail, but I think Houston at home will be able to get back in rhythm, so give me the Texans to win this game. Next, we got the Steelers taking on the Colts, and how are the Steelers still undefeated? Either way, they're going to go up against the Colts team that still really hasn't proven anything yet, so give me Pittsburgh to win this one comfortably. Next up, we got the Broncos taking on the Jets in the Nat Hackett revenge game, question mark. But Denver came out and looked really good last week against Tampa Bay. I just don't see the Jets falling into that trap again, especially considering how in sync they were throughout the last 2 weeks. Give me the Jets to win this one at home. Next up, we got the Eagles taking on the Bucks, and we got the 2023 wildcard rematch for this one. Now, I don't think Tampa showed up for that game against Denver last week, and I know with a good team like Philly coming in, they'll know to be ready and not to sleep on their opponent. So give me the Buccaneers to slightly edge this one out. Next up, we got Washington taking on the Cardinals, and there was no way you could tell me that this was going to be an interesting game. Despite the 1-2 record, the Cardinals have looked really good in every game they've played up to this point, and Washington just came off of a big-time win against the Bengals on Monday Night Football. Both teams seem to have found a rhythm and are starting to click at the right time. But just because I feel like the offense has opened up a lot more towards this team, I'm going to give it to Jaden Daniels and Washington to come in and upset the Cardinals this week. But I wouldn't be surprised if this game messed around and ended up going into overtime considering how underrated both these teams are right now. Next up, we got the Patriots taking on the 49ers, and kind of like what SMA said, the 49ers are going to be down quite a bit of their offensive weapons. They're all just beat to hell right now. However, they still have good coaching and good players, so I feel like New England could probably throw everything and the kitchen sink at the 49ers, but I think this time around they'll be smart enough to know how to close the game out, so give me the Niners at home winning this one. Next up, we got the Chiefs taking on the Chargers, and I was really excited about this one before Herbert got hurt. But for the moment, the Chiefs have not been playing very well. Definitely not like this dominant force that just bludgeons every team in front of them. And these games are always very close between the Chiefs and the Chargers. But I am going to have the Chiefs winning this one to continue their undefeated streak to start the season. Next up, we got the Browns taking on the Raiders. And yeah, both these teams are kind of ass. Cleveland at least stuck around with the Giants and were just being held back by shitty quarterback play. But the Raiders, I don't even know how to explain that. They just got waxed by the Carolina Panthers, who for the last 2 years have literally been the worst team in football. They even have the talent advantage and they still lost. I think this is going to be the biggest pile of shit through the whole week. And I mean, clearly the Raiders don't have Deshaun Watson, so give me them winning it at home. Next, we got the Bills taking on the Ravens, and this is a big game. Buffalo so far looking like the best team in football, and the Ravens finally get their first win on the year. Although they just ran a lot against the Cowboys, who have a terrible run defense. But the Ravens might have found something, because they haven't been bad all year. They just haven't been able to finish games or do enough to win. That trend's going to continue because I have Buffalo coming in and beating the Ravens in Baltimore for my lock of the week. Nothing against the Ravens, but I don't think there's any team that's looking like the Bills right now. Next up, we got the Titans taking on the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. And y'all remember when this game happened last year? Yeah, the Dolphins had a meltdown down the stretch and Will Levis clutched up and helped this team win. This year though, Will Levis looks pretty bad, but this Dolphins team is also depleted and without a quarterback. So I'm going to take the Titans to win this game, but if they don't, they're definitely going to need to consider a quarterback change. And to wrap up the week, we got the Seahawks taking on the Lions, and oh my god, I'm not gonna lie, we low-key got some bangers this week. Over the last 3 years, the Seahawks and the Lions almost built a kind of rivalry together. The last 2 games they played have been very high scoring, with the Seahawks coming out on top both times. This time around, it's hard to say who's the better team. They're kind of on par with each other right now, but the Seahawks are off to a hot start, and I feel like they're going to continue to get that rolling as they go into Detroit and sneak out a win against the Lions. And that's going to do it for this week's video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos coming up in the future. Hopefully we don't get any more chaos this week because I cannot afford to drop to a losing record for my predictions in week 4. But see you guys next time, and keep it trill.